For tonight's notes, we are going to be talking about area models, and I'm going to go to the next page that I have in my notebook and write area models on the top. And in my notebook, this is page 3 for Unit 1, so I'm going to write a 3 at the bottom. I wouldn't necessarily say that this is a really important topic, so I am not going to put it on my table of contents. If you think it's really important, like you didn't really understand it last year, you can go ahead and do that. So, area models. We're just going to go right into an example. So, an example would be something like this, where it would say multiply (3x plus 4) times 2x plus 6. Now multiplying that looks a little bit tricky. It's really easy though if you just draw an area model. Now an area model is just a rectangle. Like that. And generally speaking, we're going to cut that rectangle into 4. Sometimes we cut it into more. Most of the time we're going to cut it into 4 though. It's called an area model because you're finding the individual areas of each part of that and then you're going to add them together. That's why it's called an area model. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your problem and you're going to write it on the outside. So 3x plus 4, I'm going to write 3x and then the plus 4 on that side. 2x plus 6, 2x plus 6. I always write my x's on the bottoms right here. If you don't do that, that's okay. It's not going to be wrong. I will just always, in this class, write the x's on the bottom. So if you want to follow along like I do it, you should write the x's on the bottoms as well. And then how you complete your area model is you multiply. You're going to multiply each length and width. So this little box right here is 2x times 3x. So I'm going to write 2x times 3x equals, and we figure out what 2x plus 3x equals. Well, that's going to be 6x squared. This rectangle here is going to be plus 6 times 3x. 6 times 3x is going to give me 18x. You didn't necessarily need to write that plus 6. I just did so I knew what sign I had. This rectangle will be 2x times 4. That'll be 8x. And then in this we're going to have 6 times 4, which will be a 24. So you multiply on the insides, and then you rewrite what you have on the inside. Well, we have a 6x squared. We have an 18x. We have an 8x. And then we have a 24. From there, you're almost done. All you have to do is combine like terms. The like terms we have are a plus 18x and a plus 8x because they both have that x. And then that means our answer is going to be 6x squared plus 26x plus 24. And that's when you multiply using an area model. All right, I want you to do these next 2 examples. Again, the video is going to pause, give you some time to do it on your own, and then I will do it after that. So your first example will be to multiply 3x minus 1 times x minus 6. And your second example will be to multiply 4x plus 1 and 4x minus 1. So go ahead and do those 2 examples. When you're solving this one, you're going to make your rectangle again. And you're going to write your values around it. So we have 3x minus 1, x minus 6, and multiply on the insides. That'll be x times 3x, which will give us 3x squared. This is negative 6 times 3x, or negative 18x. We have x times negative 1, and that's negative 1x. Be careful with those negatives. Oh, you can't see them. There we go. And then negative 6 times negative 1 equals a positive 6, because a negative and a negative make a positive. Be super careful with those negatives. That's why I like to write the signs. Rewrite what we have on the inside. Combine like terms. And we have 3x squared minus 19x plus 6 after we combine like terms. The other example, same thing. Now with this example, I'm not going to write the multiplication. I'm just going to do it, because my guess is most of you can do it without writing it out. So I'm going to have 4x plus 1, 4x minus 1. And we're just going to look at it. This is 4x times 4x, which is 16x squared. If you still need to write it out, that's perfectly fine. Negative 1 times 4x is a negative 4x. 4x times positive 1 is a positive 4x. And then we have a negative 1 and a positive 1, which will give us negative 1. Rewrite 16x squared minus 4x plus 4x minus 1. Combine like terms. We have a negative 4x and a positive 4x, which gives us 0x. So our final answer is going to be 16x squared minus 1. And that middle term went away. When that middle term goes away, there's something special that happens that we will talk about later on in the year. Just keep this example in mind and we'll come back to it.